station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News.
And to the parents and families in the class of 2023, congratulations.
Straight ahead here on DC News Now at 6, President Biden delivers the commencement speech at Howard University, a recap of his top talking points. Plus, with more catalytic converters being stolen in parts of the DMV, there are steps that you can take to protect your vehicles.
They want something they can get under, cut it out, and get down the way.
Guys, thank you. But look at the steps being taken in Prince George's County. Plus,
we are trying to focus this event on all of the love and joy that comes with being queer.
And it's prom season in the district. A look at the first of its kind prom happening this weekend. But first, here's meteorologist Scott Sumner.
All right, Annalisa, good to be back with you today. And yeah, it was a little bit of a soggy Saturday to start off the weekend, but things are going to turn around for Mother's Day. We'll talk about your Mother's Day forecast and beyond with my full 7-day coming up.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6. I'm Annalisa Gale. President Biden is on his way to Japan now at this hour for the G7 summit. But before he left, he stopped by the Capital One Arena, where he addressed Howard University graduates and talked about his hopes for the future of the nation. Here's Dave Laval with the latest.
President Joe Biden received an honorary degree from Howard University Saturday as he delivered the commencement address. He also brought a message from one of the university's most notable graduates.
Kamala sends her love, and she sent a clear message that today I have the privilege, she points out, of speaking at the real HU.
The president is the 7th sitting U.S. president to deliver the university's commencement address.
We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. The future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating.
The weather forced the graduation ceremony to be moved to the Capital One Arena from campus, but that change could not put a damper on the impact of Howard University and the other historically black colleges and universities.
HBCUs help produce 40% of black engineers, 50% of black lawyers. 70% of black doctors and dentists. 80% of black judges. Class of 2023, you're the reason I'm so optimistic about the future. And I keep my word, I really mean it. You're part of the most gifted, tolerant, talented, best educated generation in American history. That's a fact.
Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And the president also spent time touching on other issues as he prepares to run for re-election in 2024. He's standing by his student debt relief plan despite recent lawsuits.
To reduce your student debt service payments when you graduate, we're also ensuring that no one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future will have to pay more than 5% of discretionary income to repay their loans, down from 10, and in 20 years is gone. Republican officials are fighting that as well. But I'll always keep fighting for you.
Well, new tonight, Prince George's County Police are investigating a deadly shooting in the unincorporated section of District Heights. We're told police responded to the 6,000 block of Blacksmith Drive just before noon. That's where they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. He later died at a hospital. At this time, no arrests have been made. And developing now in the district, police are also investigating a homicide in the 1300 block of V Street Northwest. The deadly shooting happened just before 2 a.m. The victim has been identified as 29-year-old Calvin Gray. They say he was from District Heights, Maryland. Also new this evening, police have identified the man shot and killed in the 900 block of Varney Street around 10:30 p.m. in Southeast Washington on Friday night. They say his name is Romello Hammond. He was 23 years old and he lived in the community. And right now, D.C. police are looking for a vehicle of interest in 2 assaults with a dangerous weapon. This happened yesterday morning. The first happened in the 600 block of 46th Street in Southeast D.C. around 11:30. The second incident happening just 11 minutes later in the 3800 block of J Street in Northeast D.C. Both cases, they were reported as shooting and an adult male victim with a gunshot wound. The victims were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The vehicle in question is a black Jeep Compass. You can see it on your screen there. D.C. police currently are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in that case. All right, turning outside now where it's been rainy most of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking outside on Wisconsin Avenue. People still out and about having the umbrellas outside and carrying them around, even though it's more mist and drizzle in the district across much of the viewing area. And the same can be said out towards the Annapolis region. A lot of wet roadways out there. Not the greatest start to your weekend, but some improvement is going to be heading our way overnight tonight going into tomorrow. As you can see, Annapolis seeing some showers there, a little bit of sprinkle activity in and around the district and some drizzle as well. Also some light rain extending north of the district up across portions of western Maryland as well as the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. And some of the heavier showers and even some thunder and lightning have been associated with places down towards central Virginia and just the southern areas of northern Virginia, seeing a little bit of moderate rain in and around the Spotsylvania region. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, obviously with the clouds around and those showers, we're not going to see a lot of warm air, at least not today, especially also with the wind direction coming out of the north and the east. And we see temperatures, as you notice here, pretty much locked in to the 60s right now. We've had a fairly light rain, even though it's been raining pretty much on and off all day. It hasn't equated to much across the area, about 1/3 of an inch of rain at most in spots across the region here locally. And as you'll notice here, we'll see maybe an additional ½ an inch around the Lexington Park. Otherwise, less than 1/10 of an inch will be seen. We'll talk more about the forecast and, of course, your 7-day coming up.
All right, well, today officials in Prince George's County helped people to protect their catalytic converters following an increase in thefts. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile shows us what they're doing to help.
The event was held at a body shop in Beltsville, and it was free, but only for people who lived in PG County. And it was to help keep catalytic converters where they're supposed to be, underneath a car. Now, the no-cost event happened at Miller Automotive Services. It was by appointment only, and people had to sign up with the auto repair business. People were able to get their catalytic converter registered. They were given stickers with QR codes to get that registered. Now, catalytic converter thefts have been on the rise around the DMV, causing insurance claims to jump. The shop tells DC News Now about 30 people registered for Saturday's event.
We're talking about thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of theft. They want to go into apartment building complexes, they want to go into commercial businesses where the vehicles are parked overnight so they can hit 10, 20, 30 vehicles at a time. It will help to prevent the theft in the first place. If they see it's been marked, then it's going to be harder for them to take it or sell it later.
That event went on from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now. Back to you.
And a developing story this weekend in the sports world. A monumental shift in ownership for the Washington Commanders. Current co-owners Dan Snyder and his wife have agreed to sell the team to the Josh Harris Group. The deal comes months after the Snyders hired investment bankers to explore selling the team. According to reports, the deal is now valued at approximately $6 billion, and the NFL owners still have to vote to make the deal official. As for Josh Harris, he is no stranger to owning professional sports teams. In addition to the Commanders, Harris is a majority owner of the NBA's Philadelphia Sixers and NHL's New Jersey Devils. He's now partnering with Magic Johnson and Mitch Rales to buy the Commanders. DC News Now sports director Derek Forrest has a look at what happens next in this process.
It's been a horrific disaster.
It was only a matter of time.
His impact has been an anchor that has pulled the boat underwater and just kind of kept going further and further into the dirt for a long, long time.
25 years, a little too late, if you ask some.
Unquestionably, Daniel Snyder has been one of the worst owners in sports over the last 25 years, and he has worked incredibly hard to earn that.
But the Dan Snyder era in Washington is officially over.
He's ruined the franchise.
And no matter who you ask,
he is a despicable disgrace. He is a tyrant.
You get the same response nearly each and every time.
He has killed the fan base of a franchise that was one of the pillars of the NFL.
Dan Snyder.
The Washington Commanders, and by any other name, have simply been a colossal disaster.
Was no good.
He was kind of handed the keys, if you will, to a plane, and he's driven it into a mountain.
For the Washington franchise.
He is everything that is wrong.
There are a list of things hanging over Dan Snyder's head, including workplace misconduct, congressional subpoenas and testimonies, and threatening to sue anyone who comes at him. The list goes on, and we haven't even talked about football.
And he's just deteriorated it with mediocrity and losing and bad decisions over and over again over the course of 25 years.
Since Dan Snyder bought the team in 1999, the Washington franchise has won 10-plus games in a season just 3 times. They've made it to the postseason 6 times and have gotten out of the first round only twice. Is there a correlation between the off-the-field drama getting in the way of the on-the-field success? Possibly.
That damage to the franchise and to the human beings that work there is probably the top line of Dan Snyder's legacy. But somehow it gets even worse beyond that.
But if there's one thing you can say about Snyder, which is good, he did try to get the best talent on the football field.
Usually when ownership fails, it's because ownership doesn't put the resources into the team that allows them to operate on all cylinders and be successful. The fact that Dan did that and they were not consistently successful will always be the greatest mystery to me, because Dan was willing to spend from day one.
Either way, the fans can now rejoice with parades across the DMV.
Good riddance. May he be as a fraction as miserable as he's made fans of this franchise for so many years.
As Dan Snyder has officially left the building.
I've long looked forward to the day that someone else was owning this football team.
There this weekend. And this weekend, it's a damp one. If you've been outside, I saw people walking back from the embassy with umbrellas. It looked like it caught them off guard.
Yeah, damp right now here, Annalisa, but things are going to change. A little sunshine, a few rays of hope for us on Mother's Day coming up for tomorrow. I'll have your Mother's Day forecast.